Hi, it's Neill, the guy, and welcome to the last video of the month. This month has been all about self-worth. So I'd like to thank everyone that took part, anyone that sent me messages or talked to me in the street or when they met me, to tell me their thoughts and opinions on self-worth and to tell me about the videos that I've been doing. So in this video I'd like to talk about what I learned for myself with self-worth and what I learned about self-worth from the people around me. So first of all, for myself, I would have a lot of belief in myself anyway, but I noticed when I focused on things in my life and I focused on my self-worth and asked myself anytime I was doing anything, is this going to improve me? Is this going to better my life? And then whenever the answer was yes, then I would run with it and put as much effort into it as possible. But if it was no, then I would just cut it out. And there was a few things that I would have done in the past that I didn't do this month because I realised that it wasn't going to benefit me in any way. It wasn't going to benefit anyone else either, really, but that wasn't what my goal was. My goal was to work on myself and to focus on loving myself. So once you start to pay attention to the things in your life that are not for you, that aren't benefiting you, it's not a selfish thing, it's just knowing your own value. Like when you know the value of yourself, then you can bring yourself to where you want to be. You can understand what things in your life are holding you back, and it even gives you an insight into why you're doing the things. One of the things that people talked a lot about this week or this month with me was the fact that when they started to pay attention to growing themselves and they did the gratitude is something that a lot of people held on to. The gratitude, whenever they started doing the gratitude every night, they started to think about everything that they did that was good and that moved them forward. But that also lets you see the things that didn't move you forward. It lets you see the things that were actually holding you back. So a lot of people have made little changes, and it doesn't have to be massive, it can just be a little change to stop you doing whatever it is that you would have done in the past because you weren't thinking about yourself. You're trying to please other people, or you think it's something that you need to do. Like I said, people started to develop within themselves a value for themselves. They start to know their own value. So self-love or self-worth, whatever you want to call it, when you know your value, then you don't let outside people pull you down. You don't let external forces, external things that happen in your life pull you down, because you know your worth. You know that you're not doing certain things because it's no benefit to you. One of the things that someone said to me is that they feel that their past relationships with their friends, with their loved ones, with their family have dictated how they've been living their life for the last few years. So their friends, for example, whenever you're in a group of friends and your friends are talking, basically your friends are talking badly about other people and running them down, and then you think that you're so special that even though they talk about everyone, that they don't actually talk about you whenever you're not there. You think that you need to keep them right so that they won't talk about you. But when people show you their true colours, when people show you that that's the type of people that they are, that they're going to talk down about people, or they're going to belittle people behind their back, then there's a good chance that they're doing that to you. You can't be that special if they just think that you're just solely amazing. If they're willing to talk about everybody else, what everyone's doing, what their relationships, with their training, with their eating, with their job, with the way that they just run their life, if the people around you are doing that and you see them do that, then when you're not there, they're most likely doing that about you as well. So a few of the people have said to me that once they realised that, they started to distance themselves from them people, and they noticed that their life just improved because they're not worried about how they are around their friends, because they don't want their friends to talk about them badly. Another few things that have come up is family. Like when people's family are mean or disruptive to your life, or destructive even in your life, that people would say, I know, but it's my family. Family's family, so you have to just deal with it. They can talk badly about you and cut you down, but it's okay because it's family. If that was me, then that would be much worse. Like they're your blood, they're your family. They're supposed to support you no matter what you do. They're supposed to help you out. They're supposed to defend you whenever they can. And if they're talking badly about the way you live your life, or the way you are with your partner, or how you raise your kids, or the job that you have or the fact that you've no prospects, instead of trying to help you out with your partner, help you out with your kids, and help you develop prospects so that you can develop your own ability to move forward, if they're not doing that, then it doesn't matter if they're family, then you shouldn't be around those type of people. So again, a few people have noticed that, and they've been able to go to their family and point out, because we'd be so afraid that we're going to hurt our family's feelings, or we're going to hurt our friends' feelings by bringing up the point that we don't like the fact that they're belittling us, or we don't like the fact that they're talking down about us. But whenever you address it, one of two things will happen. One, you'll deal with it, they'll deal with it, and everyone will move forward into a better relationship. Or you'll learn that it doesn't matter what you say, they're just going to be like that, and that's how they are. And once you learn that, then you can realize you have no power over that, you have no control. So you can control yourself, how you react to that, and how you move forward. And that was one of the things we focused on a lot this month, was how you feel about yourself and how much value that you put on yourself. Like, your value shouldn't be determined by how other people see you. Your value shouldn't be determined by how other people treat you. Your value should be determined by how you feel about yourself, how you treat yourself, and how you react to the way other people treat you. We also talked about our self-talk with our self-worth. So it goes back to knowing your value, and we're talking about know your value. But when you talk to yourself, tell yourself that you're great, that you're amazing, that you're awesome. But tell yourself that you have a purpose, that you have value, that you're worth something, and that you love yourself independently of anyone else loving you. If you don't love yourself independently of how other people see you or if other people love you, you're never going to have a strong relationship with anyone. You're not going to have a strong relationship with your family. You're not going to have a strong relationship with friends. And you're definitely not going to have a strong relationship with a loved one. If you're relying on the love of these people to help you to get out of bed in the morning, to help you move forward, to help you go to work, to help you look after yourself, then if they decide to not love you for whatever reason, then what are you going to do then? You've nothing to hold on to. But whenever you love yourself, independently of how anyone else feels about you or if anyone else loves you, then you can move forward through anything that happens in your life, knowing that your value within yourself is still intact. If you don't love yourself, how can you expect anyone else to love you? So there's where the gratitude comes back in again. Finding out what you have to be grateful for within yourself will help you develop the self-worth and the self-love. And then with that intact, then it doesn't really matter how other people react to you, it doesn't matter how they deal with you. You yourself know that you have worth, and that it's their loss. If they leave you, it's their loss. If your family aren't working with you to support you, then that's their loss as well. Whenever you get to where you want to get and you're happy within yourself, and you just look around at the people around you that aren't happy because they aren't willing to work on themselves. They would rather gossip about other people, or they would rather just bury their head in the sand and wait for a week of work just to get to the weekend so that they can let off some steam. If you have love for yourself independently of how everyone else feels about you, then your weekend can be every day of the week. Every day you finish work, whenever you're at work, whenever you meet people, you can get something from that to be grateful for that just makes you feel happy within yourself. So that should be the focus. Your focus should be on your self-worth, your value, and your happiness. Once you have that intact, it doesn't really matter what happens outside of it. I love me, and I see the value in me because I'm very careful about who and what I give emotional access to me. What that means is I'm very careful about who I let in my circle, like who I really let close, so that whatever they do will actually affect me. The people outside this circle, I don't really care what they do to me, what they say, how they feel about me. It doesn't make a difference to my life because I'm not emotionally attached to those people. I don't let myself just get emotionally attached to everyone. I'm not afraid of rejection. I'm not afraid of being rejected by people that don't actually know me. And that was something that came up a lot over the last month. People talking about how they're feared of rejection. They have a fear of rejection from applying for a job, for talking to someone that could be a potential lover. The fear of rejection is so high that they actually end up not doing it. And it doesn't even have to be a job or a lover. Like, people are afraid to talk to just random people because they don't want to be rejected. They don't want to feel like that person doesn't value them, and for some reason then that affects them. But the way I would look at it is, when you're being rejected in a job, they're not rejecting you as a person, they don't know you. They're rejecting your CV and how you've answered the questions in the interview, how you've conducted yourself in the interview. Same as if you're rejected on a night out. You're not being rejected for who you are, they don't know anything about you. Same as you don't actually know anything about them. If you think about it the other way around, the person that rejected you, if I asked you to tell me anything useful about them, you would probably just tell me that they're attractive and they seem dead on. But loads of people are attractive and seem dead on, but once you get to know them, it's not always the case. So whenever you're rejected in that manner, it's not real rejection, it's just how you approached the person, and maybe your look. They might have just looked at your look if they're shallow, but you can always work on your approach, and you can work on dressing better and feeling comfortable for you. If you dress the way you want to dress, we talked about this at the start of the month, if you wear something that makes you feel comfortable and you feel confident, then your approach is going to completely change to the job interview, to chatting up a person, to just making friends in the gym or somewhere random. Because you feel better about yourself for you, then you're not worried about them rejecting you, because you understand they don't know you, they're not rejecting you, they're rejecting how you approach them, so then that can be worked on. If you think about it that way, it's not real rejection in a job. Like, you can just apply for another job, learn why, ask the company what they didn't like about what you said, and learn from that and grow from that. Or ask yourself how you approached the people that you wanted to talk to and why you think you frightened them off, or why they rejected you. If it's something like a long-term relationship and it's just flat out ended, and you feel rejected from that, that's going to be normal enough, because you've put effort in and work in and the person actually knows you. But if you think back, you probably noticed that it hasn't been going the way you thought it was going, it hasn't been working. So it's not that you're being rejected, it's just over time you drifted apart, you just weren't meant to be for each other. But hopefully you learned a lot in that relationship that you can take into the next one, and that you can take into your relationships with your friends and your family. Once you do that, you're learning your core values, so that when you go to your next relationship or your next friendship or your next family gathering, you know what's core to you, what you need to have met for you to know that your self-worth and the worth that they're putting upon you are the same. Because if your friends aren't matching your worth to you, if you don't feel that they respect you as much as you respect yourself, then why are you around these people? So it gives you just something to think about. Whenever you're thinking about your self-worth, try to think about like self-love. If you don't love yourself, how can you love anyone else? So hopefully you've enjoyed this month. Next month we're going to move on to a different topic, but if you have any questions or comments or anything that you would like to add, just throw it in the comments below and let me know. And remember, self-worth is about you feeling love and respect for yourself. And if anyone else doesn't show you the love and respect that you deserve, then maybe you should cut them out. Maybe you should take them out of your circle, leaving room for something greater to come in. So I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and thank you for keeping